And we're back. So excited you're here today because today's guest is Gene Wright, a Coast Guard Master Chief with 25 years of service, more sea time than a pirate, and the kind of leadership that actually gets stuff done. He's built nav markers, broken ice, and somehow still finds time to run a company. Coach high school hockey and clean up after juice and fantasy football. This one's got heart, grit, and some laughs, so let's give a warm jabroni welcome to Gene Wright. Yeah, baby.
Thanks, appreciate it.
What the hell do I know? I'm just JB, middle-aged dad with ADD. Candid combos, jokes so lame, jabronis pulling a poker face. Just a couple of dudes with ADD. What the hell do I know? With JB.
Chill.
I like it.
Starting to show out with fake news, I see, huh? Fantasy football. What are we talking about?
I hear you lose more than you win.
I showed up with stats, dude. I got stats to back it up.
fantasy
Just saying.
football.
We both got 3
Hey, it's
championships.
coming, right?
We both got three
three.
championships.
Drafts are next month.
We're doing ours last weekend in August. Milwaukee.
Fantasy football's
Yeah.
almost here again. Anyway,
Yeah, it's kind of here.
Coming,
Yeah.
and we've got a drink of the day today.
Yeah, finally. It's been a while.
Mastro Diablo, I think is the name of it, and Gene brought this for us.
it's called El Yummio. Is what
Yeah,
it is.
so
Delicious.
good. Nice
Good
little
stuff.
tequila. It's great. Absolutely, man.
Limited edition.
So, yeah, thank you, Gene, for that, because
No problem.
it's quite tasty.
It
Single
is.
barrel. It's like 46 of like
120, it says.
120. I mean, that
It's
means
really
there's
good.
only 120 bottles of that out there. We got the 46th bottle of it.
I had the 39th and probably the 30th as well.
Yeah.
but those are gone.
Those are gone.
Those are gone. Well, this may be gone here shortly. We don't know how this show's
It'll be
gonna
gone
go
by
today.
tonight, I can tell you that.
But I do want to welcome you to our Floors.com studio. Floors.com is your one-stop shop for your next flooring or wall covering, remodel, or new build. That's Floors.com. Floor.
Double Z.
ZZ.
Double Z, baby. Double Z.com. Floors.com will take care of you. And again, we say this all the time, but folks, you can't find a floor that they can't provide you. In fact, I would double dog dare you to go and find something that you want that my friends over at Floors.com can't get or bring to you.
They may make
Yeah.
it. They may invent it.
We don't know.
That's how good
they're
they are.
such good
They
people.
may invent it. New
Such
flooring.
good folks there, and they take care of you. Make sure that you tell them the jabronis sent you.
Hey, Gene, you get 5% off, dude. First responders,
yeah, first
government
responders.
employees, or
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Awesome.
Yeah, so you got to check them, and they deliver wherever you're at. I know are you in Central Florida? Is that right?
I'm in Valrico, which is just east of Tampa.
Oh, there you go.
Brandon,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, they'll deliver there.
Yep.
Yeah, no
yeah, I
problem
think
at
so.
all.
It's in Florida. Yeah,
It's in the. I know the lower 48 thing.
Checks out.
for sure.
his son's at Tampa.
Yeah, my son lives in Tampa.
Right.
Yeah, right at like West Shore, like Bay Shore Drive.
Okay.
Like right there. I mean, he's goes to the University of Tampa, so he's,
Oh, nice.
he's like right
Wait.
down in the heart of it all.
Yeah, you didn't have to work the Pirate Festival thing, did you?
Oh, don't.
Gasparilla.
Gasparilla, yeah.
I was
you
there.
already got some stories.
I was there this last year.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, I've been a part of that once or twice. It's a good time.
No comment.
Yeah. Do you have arresting powers at Gasparilla?
The Coast Guard does. I personally do not.
Right,
but yeah,
right,
but
okay.
Yeah, we do.
But if you were in uniform in the Coast Guard and somebody's on the water doing something they shouldn't do, you could
Yeah,
take
we have
care of it,
authority
right?
to that.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's great. Well, before we dive into your story, because I'm super intrigued to hear what you have to say, I think you, as our audience out there listening, are going to love to hear what Gene has to say. But it is now time to play. What the hell do I know? With Gene, Master Chief, by the way, Coast Guard Master Chief, Gene Wright. Are you ready?
I'm ready, man.
7
Let's do it.
questions, rapid succession. Clock's on. You can pass if you need to. No gotcha questions. Here we go.
All right.
Number 1, harder to manage, a 65 kid hockey practice or a ship full of junior coasties?
65 kid practice.
Okay. Worst kind of ice, the kind you skate on or the kind you break through?
Kind of breakthrough.
All right. More intense game, overtime playoff hockey or racing the clock on a Coast Guard rescue?
Oh, overtime hockey. Not even close. It's the best thing ever.
All right. Pick one forever, PMP certification, NBA degree, or fantasy football trophy.
Oh.
Let me have the trophy.
Yeah.
He's truthful
It
too.
is, dude.
More humbling experience, military leadership school or helping with middle school math homework?
Middle school homework.
Nice. All right. Ashley, your wife, gets one superpower for real. What are you giving her?
The ability to control time.
Nice. That's a good one. That's a good
wow.
one. Number 7, one mission you've never done but would jump it if you could do.
I got to pass that one.
All right.
Gotta
All right.
pass.
All right. Well, that's it. He's off the hot seat. We
All
can
right,
come back to it.
that's
a
We'll give you
thinking
some-
one. You gotta think about
that
that
was a
one.
good. That is a tough one. Yeah, you're off the hot seat. So congratulations. Great job, my man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Great job. One mission you've never done. I mean, what?
Well, I've never
if you were
done
thinking-
anything with like helos or planes, but I don't want to. So that's what I went to at first, but I didn't actually
Right,
want
but
to
you're
do
like,
it.
I don't
Yeah,
really want to do that. I don't want to
I'm
jump out of
good.
that stuff.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'll
for
pass,
sure.
so.
Yeah, that helo, is that like high altitude, low opening? Is that what that is?
Well, that's a type of jump that we don't do that. I'm just talking about helicopters.
Oh,
when I say
helicopter.
helo.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Coast Guard's got a whole air side, air rescue
yep.
that I'm not involved in. And
Oh, I saw the show.
There's a Kevin
was
Costner movie.
Ashton Kutcher and Kevin Costner.
yeah, it's based on true events. That's
Really?
exactly how it is.
Wow.
Yeah, what was
that's
that movie
intense
based off
movie.
of?
It's not at all.
I was like, is it intense like that? How do you guys
That was
have
Hollywood.
sanity?
That was Hollywood.
That's so
There's
intense.
some Hollywood in there, but
Yeah.
But the premise of it's right. He is a rescue swimmer, and we do have a side of the house that those guys are well trained, and they jump out of helicopters, hoist down.
Oh, yeah.
You've seen all the videos of them, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like Katrina and stuff, doing all the hurricane
they were
rescues.
awesome
Yeah.
during Katrina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even North Carolina, I'm sure they had some there.
I'm sure there's a presence. I mean, and of course we know that you're Juice's friend from. I mean, how do you know Juice?
Man, we met probably 21, 22 years ago at Foxwood Country Club.
Yeah.
Okay.
We all of us kind of
Yeah,
worked
all
at the
of us.
same golf course in Crestview.
Oh, was that right? I mean, and how many times did you get him out of trouble?
It might have been the other way, to be honest.
Ah,
It might have been the other
we
way.
got into trouble together. Yeah, I don't
We
know.
did, yeah. There's this PG-13, right? So
Well,
there could be
you
a lot
can
of-
say whatever you want to say.
You are
here,
still
but-
currently employed by the government. So.
There's some stories we'll leave off, but Juice was the cool older kid that I knew, right?
Yeah.
So my senior year in high school, Juice was not really, I guess you
I was
were in
like-
college, but you were
Yeah.
21 at least.
So you basically didn't know
Probably.
anybody. I mean, the
Yeah.
pickings were slim pickings, is what you're saying.
yeah, there
Yeah,
wasn't a lot
pretty
of
much,
options, but we
I was the only loser
gravitated
still
to
around,
them.
yeah. Everybody else left.
We got our core group of 8, so we've all been around for a while. But yeah, we met at the golf course, kind of everybody worked and congregated there, and kind of just been friends since.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, you just throw that behind or stick it in, whatever. If you got one in, you should be able to hear. But,
All
we've got some photos here. Maybe Danielle, you can pull up some stuff that was the fantasy football stuff. There's I think the group photo of all of you.
Yeah, we've been doing
maybe out
fantasy
there. Y'all
football
been doing
together
it
for
a while.
about, I don't know, 18 years, 19 years. I don't know
Core
what
group
year
of
we're going
guys,
to.
is that
Yeah,
right?
I think it's probably
There it
19 or
is.
20.
Yeah.
This league has only been, I think, 16.
So where's
17.
this photo at right here?
That's in Ellijay, Georgia, up in the mountains.
You guys all
We
go-
draft, whoever wins picks where we draft at that year.
So that's a great thing. If you've got a group of guys and you're listening right now and you do a fantasy football thing, you are all over the place.
Yeah,
where you all came from the same area, younger, stayed together doing this.
None of us live together now.
None-
Like we're all,
all apart.
scattered.
Right. But you come
Somewhere else.
together for that weekend to do your pick.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was the idea. The commissioner, the guy who started it,
Yeah.
that was his idea.
Very
It's like,
cool.
hey, if we do this, we're more likely to keep in touch than calling and asking how the kids are doing. and
Yeah.
all that.
Very cool.
So-
You got a picture of maybe their sleeping conditions too. I think, back there, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Their sleeping
Definitely.
conditions is
Gene
what I
likes to
think
take
I saw.
naps. He's a napper.
Is
You know,
that right?
it's my only time off. I like to nap.
Weird times of days he naps.
Let's see if she,
Naps
let's see if
are
she
good.
finds this photo and throws it up there.
So yeah, the
There it
fantasy
is. There's,
football-
there's the
Yeah.
photo.
So
That's
that one
the
he got
one,
iced.
so-
Yeah, he got
Well,
iced in that one.
What's funny about that picture is what was going on the TV is Florida State was getting trounced by Georgia Tech during that.
Oh,
These
so
are
this
facts.
is just
This is
recently.
last year, yeah.
Yeah.
that's kind of when it all started. The downhill slide, the Georgia Tech.
It
That was
was.
the first game they went
It
over
was.
won.
Yeah.
it was.
That was the first game.
They were in Ireland, right? Or,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was overseas.
Yeah.
So
That
we
Irish-
were
that Irish
doing our
kicker?
drafts watching that game. It was bad. Well, yeah.
I mean, I thought it was fine.
I mean, but you're telling
You were
me,
sleeping.
You're telling me that Juice is he sent me, and we're not gonna. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you we're not gonna throw up all the pictures because this cat is like, here's all the pictures that I have that
Yeah,
I
it wasn't
want
that many.
to I mean, it was like a Dropbox full of pictures.
They must be
But
good
he
ones.
wanted to clear his good name game in fantasy football. So Danielle, we have one more, and I think it's the fantasy football like scorecard.
Yeah, it's
you
the
win?
18-year
Oh, is it
scorecard
Photoshop?
that Yahoo keeps up. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, here
so
it is. This-
it's not even close.
That's
Yeah, Juice is the diamond.
Gene's third, though. I'll give it
You
to
are
him.
third. You're silver. You're
Yeah.
silver. Buffalo Nickels.
that doesn't count.
Yeah.
Wade has only been in the
That-
league like 4 years.
Yeah.
That seems skewed data
He's got
right
skewed.
there.
Yeah,
Well, Wade's is skewed for sure.
Yeah.
No, so but yeah, Juice he threw at me like it was 100 pictures, and I had to sift through and find like 4 of them that looked good.
I show him. I got the calendar pictures. We did a calendar one year of holding the
Oh,
trophy.
yeah, that was good.
Oh yeah, you
I
have
couldn't
all
find the
good
calendar
stuff.
though. I was going to break the
It's all
calendar.
good stuff. All good
Our
stuff,
commission.
man. It's but it's cool when you have a good group of guys that hang out together and then want to consistently do life.
No,
You know,
yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
a lot of fun, and it's hard to get people together. I assume you guys are constantly in communication. Juice is always telling me.
Yeah, it's a group chat. That's
yeah.
every day.
Yeah,
day.
Every
that's
day.
awesome. That's really cool. What I love too about Eugene is that Juice will text me. He's like, "Hey, I just got this from Gene or whatever." Because you are actually a listener. You're part of our audience.
Oh, 100%.
You are a
100%.
certified jabroni.
Yeah, man.
Oh, that's an honor. I
You
appreciate that.
actually clicked subscribe. You clicked it.
I did. I hit.
Yeah.
I was
Boom.
probably one of your first 100 subscribers. To be
That's
honest.
awesome. Yeah, it took a while, but yeah.
Yeah, I might have been 100, but I might was in the first.
No, that was
Nice.
awesome, man. No,
Yeah.
we appreciate anyone who listens, and that just goes to show you probably have a story out there if you're in our audience that we would love to get you on the couch.
That's
and hear
right.
about.
Yeah, man.
For sure. But so, Gene, we're super excited to have 25 years in the Coast Guard with over a decade at sea and in command. What's the most defining leadership lesson the ocean has taught you that still applies on land today?
Man, that's a really good question. I think when you're out at sea, things can change very quick, and you're kind of out on your own. And I learned a lesson a long time ago. Kind of stay calm. Right?
Yeah.
Stay calm. That's as a leader, you gotta. There's nobody to turn around and ask the question to, right? Everybody's looking at you. And when I was a young man, I was a little bit fired up all the time, and I think that might have been, a defining moment. I can tell the story real quick. We had a mission going on where, it was definitely more urgent than the rest of them, right? And we're in the ice, we're trying to tow a boat, and I'm getting set down on some shoals, big waves, and they're having a hard time hooking up the tow line, and it's going on for probably longer than it should have. And I'm literally leaning out the bridge window, screaming every expletive that I can think of to try to get them to hook it up, right? It goes horrible. We ended up just cutting it free. When we're doing the little debrief and talking about it, I asked them, like, hey, why weren't you guys moving faster? Like, didn't you hear my urgency? Like, didn't you, I'm screaming at you all these expletives, and, the youngest guy just turns around. He's like, well, being one, I was a little bit younger. He's like, you cuss all the time. You scream at us all the time. I never noticed the inflection in your voice. And that kind of stuck with me to where I was like, you know what, maybe save that one for when it's actually an emergency. So, so I've been that's one thing I've been trying to work on, even in my personal life, trying to stay calm. I probably fail more than I succeed with it, but
at least you're realizing it.
That's great
stay calm.
self-awareness.
yeah. And then the other thing is kind of like you got to be authentic as a leader, right? Like, there's a lot of people in leadership positions that don't lead, right? And you have to be able to say, like, hey, this is who I am as a leader. This is what's important to me. This is what we're going to do, because you have to influence everybody to go the same direction.
Yeah.
A couple of people going, that don't buy into the system, or they're not going to, follow the rules or meet a certain standard.
Right.
All it takes is one or two to shift the mission the wrong way. So, there's many different leadership styles. There's many different ways to do it, but I find that, as long as you can stay calm, be authentic, you're going to do all right with yourself.
Man, that's a really good advice. There was a time, I've told this story before, we had a 65-foot motor yacht that we took down to the Bahamas. I took it as far west as New Orleans, and then I captained it myself as far south as like the Exumas. And on the way back from the Bahamas, I left out, and here's a crazy story. I called into the Coast Guard to tell them that I was headed over.
It's a good idea.
Right?
Yeah, good idea.
And because you've got to let them know I'm entering back in the country. What's funny is the guy on the phone calls me. He goes, hey, we just saw your GPS, because I guess I had to send him my whatever coordinates were. He goes, well, we just saw your GPS. And it was my first time coming back into the States in a boat. So he said, you're still in Bahamian water. And I was like, yeah, no, I didn't know when to call. He goes, no, just call when you get closer to the American water, and then we'll admit you. He goes, I'm going to go ahead and deny, your access. I'm going to go ahead and deny this request to enter the country again. I'm like, Like I knew what he was doing, but at the same time I was
It
like, "But
sounds
I'm American."
I want to come back, bro. I was just telling you early. I was just a little early about it. Don't deny me.
Was his name Gene?
Yeah,
He
sorry
was
about
great.
that.
I think I even joked with this. I'm like, "You can't deny me." He's like, "This is just paperwork. I have to deny here."
Yeah, Jesus,
but you
yeah,
come
that was
back in.
me.
But I was like, "I don't want to be denied. I'm
That's
American."
funny.
Yeah.
But you got to stay calm. I've had a lot of weird commotions, and times I've had to tack back out of storms and all that, and getting. And you're right. You start to hear boats listing or going away, and the last thing you want to do is just lose it.
Panic.
Yeah, I mean, my job on board in command is, at first the very first thing is on the boat driver, on the expert, right? That's the very first thing. There's nobody that's supposed to be better at that than I am, right? So in times when those seas do get big or the weather picks up and you kind of start seeing a little bit of commotion, that's when you come in with that calm and voice, like, I got it, everything's gonna be fine. And even though you might be shaking on the inside, right, everything's fine, I got it, right? This is my job. And it kind of calms everybody down so they can do their job and you guys can work as a team to accomplish whatever that mission is. So
when those seas are like that and crazy, what do you recommend to a captain to do? I mean, do they need to, for instance, if they're heading into, 8-foot, 9-foot swells, things of this nature, and it's coming all the way, do they need to turn their bow a certain way? What's the first thing somebody could?
Yeah, bowing is pretty much always better, or stern too. One of the two. I recommend bow. Yeah, I'd recommend bow in, and then slow down.
Slow down.
You're kind of
time it. Be maybe in the middle of the wave or on top of the wave.
Imagine driving your car down the road with speed bumps, right? Like just slow down. Just you're good, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to bury the bow into the wave in front of you. You don't want to outrush the seas. So.
You ever see those, there's a wavy boats, I think it's on Instagram.
I follow
wavy boats.
Or it's on
you see
YouTube,
those guys come in, there's like some pass over on the east side.
Miami.
Haulover Pass.
Haulover
and they come in there, and there was somebody
crazy,
just saw they're investigating this because the boat was deep into it, and I think it was a charter boat, and the guy on the front on the bow had injuries to it.
Can we do a PSA to stop bow riding?
I love it.
They're on the bow with no life jackets.
What?
At Haulover Inlet.
You shouldn't be on it with a life
What's
jacket.
the benefit?
You should be on the bow without it. Bow riding is
What
insane.
is the benefit?
It is
only
actually
negative.
against the law.
Yeah.
It is actually against the law. Yeah.
It's like riding without a seatbelt.
Yeah.
I mean,
So it is. I didn't know it was against the law.
It's a state law, not federal, right?
Okay,
but it
is
is a law. FWC will hit you up.
Did not
and they
know
should.
that.
It is incredibly.
I mean,
dangerous.
if you down here at Crab Island, people ride the bow and you slip under, especially on a pontoon, you slip under a pontoon. The only place you're going is to the
prop.
The props. It's the only place you're going.
Yeah.
And I don't care if they're plastic. It ain't going to be fun.
No.
It's going to cut you up if you survive.
Yeah.
If you survive.
I was stationed at Destin for a while, and that Destin Pass, as beautiful as it is, because it is gorgeous. It
gets rocky.
Is pretty dangerous as well.
Oh yeah,
current.
Like the current, sometimes you got the outgoing tide with the wind just right. It stacks up in there pretty good.
Yeah.
And I've had to ride the waves in before, and the waves never come right into the middle of the pass. It's always
right.
At some point you're like riding the wave, and you say, I got to go over here.
There's another one, and I got to go over here.
Yeah.
But
It is weird out there.
Yeah.
Not always, like you said, but there's some times where you don't even notice, and you're like, I'm in a mixer.
Yeah, it doesn't take
This
long.
is weird.
No.
Yeah.
I had the other day I went to, I think it was Fresh Market, and I went to go get some really nice, they got these great fillets at the Fresh Market here in town in Destin. Oh, and they're like Chateaubriand. They just are amazing.
Jason likes the steak.
Trust me, if you live in the Destin area, go to Fresh Market, look up their Chateaubriand, get 9-ounce fillets. Thank me later. If you want to DM me how I cook them, I'll give you my reverse sear recipe. But I'm telling you, these things, you just need a fork. You don't even need a knife anymore. It's just so good. But I was there, and I went to the butcher there and said, I need my brother was in town. I said, hey, get me 7 of these fillets or whatever. The guy came around, and he brought his late. He had them packaged up, and he says, hey, I'm going to give you a discount on this if you can answer a question for me. And I said, all right. And he told me these players, golfers like Arnold Palmer and somebody else, and he goes, what branch of service did they serve in? And I was like, I don't know. I mean, the way you're saying this, I feel like I'm just like the Air
It's
Force.
a trick question,
Coast Guard.
It's Coast Guard.
I didn't know
It's
that.
Coast Guard. It's Coast Guard.
Wait, so who is it? Arnold Palmer?
It was
That's the only one I know.
It was several other,
Yeah.
like maybe there's a president there or an athlete or there's somebody else that he had 2 or 3.
Okay.
But they were all Coast Guard, and he had a pin that he had retired from the Coast
Oh,
Guard.
nice.
And it was so cool to me, and he still gave me the discount. Great guy.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate it. But he had a saying to me. He said this, and I wrote it down. He said, U.S. Coast Guard, we've been saving people from natural selection since 1790.
It's true, man. It's true.
Oh my gosh.
I used to sit out there on the deck there at the station and watch people go out and be like, I'll be seeing them in a couple hours.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
You can tell.
Like, you can just see the storms coming in. You're like, oh, just turn around.
Just don't
please.
do it.
Yeah.
Please,
Can you
the bay is
radio to
nice.
somebody when they're doing that and go, hey, like, it's just the Coast Guard telling you preemptively
Going
this
down
is a dumb idea.
20-foot center console, and there's a wall, black wall coming.
We can let them know the conditions. And,
Yeah.
that's the standard policy. I mean, I probably looked at people before and been like, "What are you doing, man?" Like,
Yeah.
in a bass boat going out the pass when I just turned around in a 41-foot boat.
A bass boat. I've seen it. I've
You're
seen
like,
the bass
"You
boats
are,
go through the
You were
pass.
on the boat with me that time. We were taken out from the Sandestin Marina, and we were on the big boat. We went right under Mid-Bay Bridge for like a charcuterie board, like sunset.
Yeah.
Seas turned. We got out to the other side of the Mid-Bay Bridge. I was like, yeah, we're not going to go to the pass now. We're going to turn it around. And it's still getting choppy there, but we're in the bay still.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we're just going to turn it around. We're going to keep everything closer to the marina and just have a day at it there. All of a sudden, we hear a distress signal. Remember this? Distress signal. This young kid had come from Niceville, and which is, for those listening and don't know the area, we're in the bay headed towards the pass to get to the ocean. This particular trip, it's probably an hour long from Sandestin through the bay to get there.
Going slow.
Yeah.
And going slow.
On a boat, yeah.
We got halfway, about 30 minutes. Niceville then would be north of us on the bay. This guy had come in a small, like 20-foot sailboat with his grandmother.
That's right.
Yeah.
Seas turned, was getting real chop, lost his sail, and he is now heading towards the Mid-Bay Bridge with an SOS comes out on the radio. I'm monitoring, 16 or whatever. And I look around, there is no other boats but me, and all of a sudden I see, there's the 20-foot sailboat.
There's the sailboat
You're
right
up,
there.
buddy. You're up.
But it
And
was
I was
drifting
up.
right
Yeah,
towards.
you're up.
I was up. We kind of trolled over there, threw a line to him, got him tied up, and held him till his dad came. But I was actually on Channel 16 with the Coast Guard because I was identifying who I was.
Nobody was in the water yet.
No, and he's like, "How's it?" They were back and forth with me. Do you have this? Are you under control? Have you got him? I mean, they just walked me through to make sure he was okay, and we did. And his dad came in a center console, a bigger center console, and kind of tied it and towed him back. But they were right on the radio, ready to go if we didn't have it. But we were that's like your duty, right? If you're in a boat and you see a distress, it's kind of your duty, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's good Samaritan, right?
Yeah.
Like you should, right?
Yeah.
And there's times where you have to, you know. Mid-Bay from the station there, it's probably 25 minutes to get out there, maybe.
Well, we were right. When I looked around, I was like, wow, there's the boat.
And nobody else was here.
Yeah.
It's just us.
He was probably 5 feet from hitting Mid-Bay Bridge.
Yeah, with us,
By the
it
time
was
I threw
going
a
to
line
slam
to him.
into it.
Yeah.
He's going to slam right into
Dang.
it.
Yeah, it was
Pylon.
that's where I'm kicked up.
They should make
real
a movie
fast.
about this. This is crazy.
I mean, essentially, I saved
you could
his
just
life.
start it.
What's
yeah.
crazy is it's starting to rain. All this his grandmother's down there. She's shivering.
She's shivering. It was scary
nuts.
for
Wait,
her.
scary.
Question: who would play you in a movie, Jason?
Oh, that's a
I'd probably-
oh man, come on!
I'd
This is
probably
my
do it.
7 questions to
It
you.
would
This is one.
probably be Tom Cruise.
It'd probably be
in his 30s.
be
In
money.
his 30s.
I'd probably play a good KB.
Be money.
It'd probably be Tom Cruise in his 30s. That's
yeah.
probably where we're going. We're probably going like risky business Tom Cruise. Cocktail Tom
Oh,
Cruise. somewhere
wow,
there.
that young. Okay. I'll go with Santa Claus to play me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Which Santa Claus?
Tim Allen when he was ripped off.
When it's ripped.
That's great. Well, you've served back to the show. You've served. My next question: you've served everywhere from the Gulf to the Great Lakes to the Pacific. Was there a mission that tested you the most mentally, emotionally, or morally?
Oh, great question.
Yeah, man. There is. I mean, both of them, right? Like, so the one that I really struggle with, I truly struggle with, is the migrant interdiction one. We have some people that do that for a living, and I've done it before. I hate it, man.
Well, I need to understand
Could you
what this
expl- yeah,
is.
what is that?
So essentially, where our job is to stop migrants from entering the country, right?
wow, yeah.
And I
I
know
feel like
it's
from Haiti or something.
yeah, Haiti, Cuba, Dominican.
Yeah, Cuba,
Like,
yeah.
Not necessarily Dominican, but it could be. I mean, you're talking about people who are floating on a raft. They would rather get in a raft to the unknown to try to make it to America because they're trying to flee whatever life they're in, and you want to be empathetic and you want to say, hey man, like we're here to help you, but we're not there to help you, right?
Right.
But at the same time, you also know that any time that there's an opportunity for people to do good, there's going to be bad people that are also going to be taking the opportunity to do evil.
Well, there could be people on that raft that aren't there to be do.
I would say, and this is my personal opinion, with 100% certainty, there's at least one person on there that is not.
That's disguised amongst the rest.
Right. So, and I've seen some pretty awful things, and those just a ton of people on rafts. It's not a pleasure cruise for those individuals.
No.
So you have all this empathy for them. You want to help them, but
you can't.
We can't. Like,
Well, what do you do?
we do.
When
We help them.
you get them out of that.
Right,
You get them
there's-
out of this dangerous situation on sea.
Right. Exactly.
You get them onto a boat.
Right.
They usually get shelter and food for a second, I assume. And then where do they go? Do you bring them back to the States into a holding area?
Yeah, we kind of get told what to do. That's kind
and then
of out
after
of our
that, then
hands.
that's more homeland or whatever.
Correct, absolutely. Yeah, State Department gets all that.
So there could be people that get asylum. There could be people that find their way into our country, and there could be people that are sent back.
Correct. Yes.
But if they didn't, maybe that raft would have sunk. And
They may not
didn't
even
make it.
survive.
Exactly. So and how many people? I mean, how many times that happened? We don't know about.
You don't know.
Well, that is a real moral kind of like quandary when you're working in that world, because you see that's another human being that has a soul.
Right.
That's a mother and a father, is a mother and a father, maybe having children on board.
Man, I can't do the kids thing with it.
Yeah.
That one really
That's
gets
tough.
me. Like
Yeah.
you see kids in that raft, and I get real fired
Oh,
up.
my
like,
God.
pretty quick, and
Yeah.
the females aren't exactly treated very nice in
Right.
those situations. So the conditions are horrible, man. It's a tough one for me.
What's the worst float you've ever seen? I mean, what are these things made of?
I mean, they can be made of anything. Most of the time, it's some sort of boat hull, and they try to fashion a sail, or they even have an engine, and they can get across. But it could just be a bunch of pallets or crates, or it just kind of depends on the time, right?
God, I could imagine
what's
doing
going on.
pallets. Oh,
But you know
my
how
God.
desperate you are for freedom?
Yeah.
How much?
I mean,
how desperate you are to have something better for yourself or your family.
Can't hate them, yeah.
You can't hate on that.
No way.
Right?
But at the same time,
Yeah.
you can't come in.
Yeah.
So it's like that's the dichotomy of your feelings there. You're like kind of just, it's tough. It's a tough one.
I can
for me.
only
Yeah, it's a
imagine how
one
tough
for me.
that is. I can only imagine. You're the director of ops, kind of switching gears a little bit. You're the director of ops of Deer Smeer and a certified PMP, which tell everybody what is a PMP.
PMP is a project management professional. It's it's a certification.
Yeah.
That the Project Management Institute hands out.
Yep.
So
no, I mean, you've gone through to learn systems and figure out how to install them and implement them and be a better operator. But how do you approach leading in a business or volunteer setting differently than you do in the military? Or is it the same core mindset?
I think the mindset is kind of the same, right? I think there has to be a mission statement or a vision. However, when people are in the military, they have to be there, right?
Right.
So
Right.
we have a contractual agreement, right? Like you shall be here. And, when you start talking about volunteerism or in a business, right? And I think the focus changes for who your customer is as well, right? So in the military, you could argue that who the customer is for each mission. But in business, you're trying to make money and succeed and still provide customer service. And whatever your mission statement is, you're trying to do that in a competitive market.
Yeah, well,
right?
I would think that your parameters, like you were just talking about how you as your customer is, who your customer is it's the United States of America, right, in the Coast Guard, but you have parameters and rules and regulations that you've got to work inside of. I know in business, technically there are rules and regulations as long as you're not violating any laws, but I imagine you have a lot more latitude.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? I mean, so when you know who your customer is, to take care of that customer, I mean, if something went wrong and you were like, oh my gosh, well, here's another one or whatever, you can do that so much easier. There's not the same red tape, when you're working with the United States government.
Yeah, I mean, and it's again, I think competition might be the biggest thing with that, right?
Oh,
Like
the
Coast Guard doesn't really compete with anybody.
No,
we are the experts in what we do.
You don't like
right?
it.
Yeah, like this is
Pound sand.
yeah, this is the and here's our U.S. code saying this is why. Like in business, like you're out there with
your
everybody.
customer's almost making the rules up for you, right?
Exactly.
Right? I mean, that's a totally different way when you think of that. It's one thing I love about the free market. I used to tell people all the time, when we had our sanitation company, we had anywhere from 18 different haulers in counties we serviced. Now, we took care of most of the municipalities, but in the unincorporated parts of the counties we were in Metro Atlanta, they were subscription business, meaning that if you owned a home in an unincorporated part of like my home county, Henry County, you could pick up the phone and dial up any 18 different garbage haulers. Now, if you were in the city of McDonough, that contract was, it's one hauler and you're just going to pay the bill. What we noticed is the service was so much better in the counties, in the unincorporated parts, because there I had to pick up my phone better than the next guy. I had to have cleaner trucks better than the next guy. I had to have cans better than the next guy. I had to, train drivers better than the next guy. Now, I tried to do that, and I felt like I did that in the cities that I had contracts with, like Noonan and Fairburn and Fayetteville and all these other cities. But the customers didn't have a choice. They couldn't go anywhere in those cities, but they could in the counties.
You work harder when you're not on a contract.
But I love free market. I love free market because the cream rises to the top. Right? I mean, I want to be better than the next guy, so I'm going to give my my customers the
some sort of advantage over the competition, right? Whether it's pricing or value or whatever, it's got to be something.
Whatever it is, it's going to create ingenuity inside the entrepreneur to give that extra, to win.
And that's what we did with Deer Smeer. Is the company he's working with is we have a cover scent company, right? There's a lot of them out there for hunting.
Well, we've got Deer Smeer. Danielle, can you throw up their website? We can throw up the Deer Smeer.
But what was it?
Too.
The bowstring wax, a scented bowstring wax, right? That's the
scented bowstring wax is kind of our number one product. Most bowstring waxes claim to be unscented, which is kind of what you want, right? Like, I mean, you would think that's what you want, but our founder kind of thought, hey, like the unscented kind of smells not unnatural, right?
Okay.
It still has a scent. It's unscented, but it doesn't
smell like
wood.
Nature
is like is scented,
it's got
right?
something to it.
Right.
Yeah.
So instead of going unscented, he essentially scents it with scents that the deer are familiar with, whether it be acorn, earth, apple, corn. Right. So
your hunting environment.
Right.
Very good.
Whatever your environment is, right? And it's
it's like one of the only ones that's
it's the only one that
bowstring wax on the
very
market.
Good.
Yeah.
And you call it bowstring wax.
Yeah. So when you pull a crossbow, they have railgun wax,
lube.
And then for actual bow, you put lube on that.
So we need
do it once a year.
To get like Cameron Hayes. We need to get him some Deer Smeer, right?
Colin Sanders has that connection.
We need to connect him with Colin. And
I told him, about Colin. Yeah,
for sure. That sounds like it's right down there. So you're working on your MBA while leading in the Coast Guard, running ops for a company, and coaching youth hockey.
Yes.
Why keep pushing so hard? And what's kind of the next thing after your military retirement?
Yeah, the last question was the hardest to answer. What's next, right? I think I answered that question with why I do the other ones. Because I don't know what's next.
Yeah,
and I don't want to be unprepared.
Yeah.
And the reason I got these things is when I was starting to explore retirement and what I was going to do next, I looked up Indeed, I started looking at jobs, and I saw what requirements were made for the jobs. What were the requirements to get a job in, just pays 6 figures or something, right? Whatever it is. And what I'm noticing was that I had nothing, right?
Nope.
Yeah, I was like, all right, well, what do you do? Oh, I drive boats real good. That doesn't, I just can't put on there badass and fantasy football champion, right?
Well, it's it is 3 titles. I heard.
It is. So
pretty good.
So I just kind of started making a list of the most
winners.
The most commonly ones that I saw, and that's actually how I got started with Deer Smeer was. I saw that, bachelor's degree, most jobs had bachelor's degree plus 5 years experience, plus 3 years experience, or a master's. Well, there's no way for me to come out of the military and have 3 to 5 years of experience. So I got a hold of the owner and was like, hey man, can I work with you? Teach me some stuff about business. I need a title. I want to work. I want to learn this stuff. So either I can come work for you when I retire, or right, I'll be able to reference you on a resume for experience time, right? So that was kind of how that led into it. And that came into a bigger question about, seeing his vision, what he wanted for the company, which I absolutely love. And man, just talking to him, I bought it fully.
I tell you what, I love the fact that you've reinvented yourself and you didn't stop. Here it is, you're thinking about the next level, how you want to, navigate life, or you kind of level up to a degree, and you didn't stop, and you took you kind of assessed your talent, which I think you've probably devalued a little bit in here on this show, because there's so much leadership, there's so much decision making, there's so much operational control you have in the Coast Guard besides just driving a boat. And I think you know that.
Yeah,
so I think you're being humble with it a little bit. But you have all of that. but then you assess that and said, what else do I need to navigate into, the kind of corporate world, or what do you call it? The civilian world. Right.
And with the way that
super
they do,
smart, by the way, super smart.
The way that they do hiring now too, it's not like, everything's online. So I have to have something that competes. Right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm going to be a 44-year-old guy coming out of the military, and there's going to be kids that are going to be 25 with degrees and maybe a couple of years of experience. If I'm a business owner, right, what makes that guy better, right? How does this work? So I figured I would just try to get exactly what you said. Take the skills that I have that apply to the civilian world, start getting certifications for it, get the bachelor's degree, get the master's degree. Because the master's degree, I don't necessarily need experience. Most of that says or master's.
Yeah.
Right? So that's kind of, and then
I love it.
Yeah, that's kind of
I really love it. And if you're listening out there online, if you're on the interwebs and you're listening to this show or watching it, however you choose to watch this $10 podcast, I think this is absolutely really great advice if you're wanting to reinvent yourself, or even if you are 24 and 25, you're looking for where you want to be. What do I need to get there?
Right.
That's almost how you should assess anything that you're wanting to tackle.
Right.
Sometimes you just start to climb, but at some point you got to look up and say, what do I need to get to the top?
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I may not use any of it, right?
Yeah, no.
I may not use any of it.
But it's great to have in your tool bag.
It was not time wasted, right? I learned a ton. Learned a ton along the way, so.
Well, we got the hookup for celebrity boat captains if you want to do that.
Man,
we can
get you a tour.
That, yeah.
I'm down. So.
Yeah. I don't even think I told them about the fantasy football guys that our buddy Brad's doing Tua Tagovailoa's boat.
Oh,
yeah,
it's no big deal.
Yeah. He's got him on a workout.
We got the inside track of this. So I'm drafting him. Yeah, I'm going to draft him this year because I know what's up.
I mean,
what's up?
He hasn't been able to tell us whether he knows who he is anymore or not. But I mean, we're trying to figure that out yet. No.
Man.
Great segue for me to talk about True North Pest Control.
What are you talking about?
Hey, True North Pest Control. You got to check them out. They are all over Central Florida. They're all over Georgia and the Emerald Coast. Make sure you check my boys out at True North Pest Control. They are incredible. Juice, tell them about True North Pest Control.
Do they service boats? I think they do. They will take care of your mosquitoes, your unwanted pests. There's a lot of termites flying around these days, so they take care of that too.
A lot.
That's right.
All the roaches.
Again, True North Pest Control. Check them out, truenorthpest.com, and they will take care of you, man. They are superheroes here. You're pest control superheroes.
Man, that's nice.
That is great.
Yeah.
And we're back.
Where we go?
All right. Well, just a little commercial break. Just a little commercial break.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
True North Pest Control.
True North Pest Control. You got to check
rid of
them
all
out.
your termites, unwanted pests, ants, spiders. Spiders are big around here,
They can.
When it rains, there's a lot of rain.
They're hard to get rid of.
Yeah.
But True North can get rid of.
Yeah.
They lay like 800 eggs or something, don't they? Or they have.
They get rid of fire ants because I don't miss that.
I don't think they eat. I don't think they
Freaking
eat
fire
poison.
ants.
Like it's like they don't eat the poison or something like that. Like there's nothing that really where like mosquitoes they can kill them with a spray.
Yeah.
And certain things, but I think spiders are pretty hard to get rid of. But
Checks
like I said,
out,
True
dude.
North can do some stuff that they got the
Well,
chemicals.
they'll knock the spider webs down and hornet nests and all that
They
too.
do
They did it at my house.
yeah,
Yeah,
they do a
They
lot.
kind of sweep around the whole perimeter. It's nice.
No, they're really good. So back to the show. This is our chance to play a Delve card. So DELVE. This is our Delve card. We got a little juice music to play. We've got the Delve card. There it is.
It's been like a month since we played.
Juice, where are you? We're waiting patiently for what you do. Google Guru, he'll make it right. In a flash, he'll solve the fight. Oh man, he's good at poker, that's right.
Chill.
So Delve cards, DELVE, Delve cards. So parents out there, if you're looking for a conversational starter at your kitchen table, this is something that we did when our kids were younger and get those tween years and teen years, and they come home and house school and they go, I don't know. Yeah, bro. I don't know. This is a great conversational thing. You can find them online, DELVE, Delve cards. I think it's Broadway Games. Pull it out. Here's a question. We're going to answer it and play the game with you. So here we go. What's the question today, Juice?
Basically, if you could move to any other country in the world, what would you pick and why? Which country would you pick to move to and why?
Majorca, Spain. Majorca, Spain.
I haven't
I'd
been
go
there.
there.
Yeah.
I love it.
Haven't been to
It's one of
Spain.
my favorite places to go. Everybody asks me where I go back. If I go back to a place, it's one of the places Danielle and I both love. I love it. It's an island off the coast of Barcelona in the
okay.
Med. But it's got a beach side to it. It's got an old world city side to it with great restaurants and bars and things like that. And then it has a mountain side to it with like
awesome.
castles and vineyards and things of that nature, all on the island. So
Can we
you
take
can
a
you get 3 different type of regions
there?
on this island.
Yeah, it's a good size
I'll
island.
go
Mhm.
anytime.
I think we need to
Anytime.
organize a
We
trip
need to organize a
there.
trip.
Yeah.
It's a big
Work on
island. It's a great
location.
island.
Yeah, there's probably a pod that can be done there.
There could be
Yeah, 100%.
all the write off.
100%.
Yes.
In fact, I think there's a famous tennis player there, Rafael Nadal. I think it's
I've
from
heard of him.
Palma,
Yeah, yeah,
Mallorca.
I've heard of him.
We just set up. I'll call his people. Rafa.
Let's do it.
Your people need to get with my people, which
Well,
is
if
me,
you
which
take-
is me.
Yeah.
And I'll get with your people, and we'll set up a pod in your hometown in Palma.
Let's go.
You pay for everything.
Oh,
We'll
okay.
shoot the pod and do production. No worries.
Seems like
Sounds like a great
Sounds
deal
like a
to me.
great deal for
Could
him.
invite Taylor as well.
Would you like to be introduced to 24,000 subscribers?
he'd probably go.
Probably nobody knows who you are.
Gene, what country would you like to live in?
Man, this is tough. Like I'm a homebody. I think America's great.
Oh yeah, America
It
is
is.
great.
But if I had
gosh.
to, I would go to Canada because I love hockey, and there's a lot of hockey there.
What city in Canada would you go to?
Halifax.
Halifax. Oh, you nailed that one. Huh? Why Halifax?
is a blast.
Is it?
Oh man, it's
Okay.
a blast. Now, to be fair, I haven't been to a lot of other
Yeah.
cities, right? But Halifax.
Weren't you
was a good time.
stationed right around there for?
Connecticut? It's
Yeah.
it's still a long way.
Yeah,
from
but
Halifax,
it's right on the
yeah.
border there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been up through there. We stopped there for 3 days, and
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Halifax is a blast. Yeah.
If you take the politics out of it, I'll pick North Korea.
You don't want to be
I've
bummed.
heard it's
I don't
beautiful.
think that's not part of the card.
Politics. How do you take politics? out
You
of
are
North
getting
Korea?
caned straight
How do
way.
you- Nobody picks North Korea.
I feel like a white person would crush it over there, dude.
I feel
There's
like
no
you would
other
have your
white people,
fingernails
yeah.
pulled out
Nah,
of
it would
your
be
hands.
good, dude. I don't have fingernails. Nah, seriously, I'd say Alec Capri, Italy, or New Zealand.
Okay.
Iceland's awesome, but it's too cold. New Zealand's beautiful.
Capri. I
Yeah.
think they call it
Capri.
Capri.
It's Alec
Isn't it
Capri. Capri.
Capri. I thought it
I
was
don't know.
Capri. I think
Capri,
it's Capri.
like Capri Suns. That's how I say it.
Yeah. I've been there. Cool
Yeah.
place. Yeah.
But it's a small island. The
It
one
is
you're
small. No,
describing
it's
is better.
super small.
Sounds bigger, a little
Palma's.
more.
I like Palma better, but
Yeah.
Capri is.
But
really
it's
nice.
just a mountain, though.
It
It's
is.
like
It's
there's
straight
really
up. It's
no
I've
flatlands, which is kind of crazy.
I dove off a restaurant that was like 50 feet in the air on this cliff into the water because my son was like he wanted to do it, and he was I don't know, man. Danielle would know.
I know probably exactly
like
what you're talking
12,
about.
10, 12,
Yeah.
whatever. And there was this, and we had to go across the railings and then jump this thing. And I mean, that regret hit me immediately in the air.
Oh yeah, like
And it was one of these falls where I had to reposition my body like 3 times to make sure there was toes
Dang.
down. It was that.
Is this on
it was that
video?
far. There might be something
Oh,
out there.
man.
And I remember this. People were jumping. Jackson never did jump though. Even though I went, he never did.
Oh.
But there was another kid like right after me that jumped, and then you had to climb back up these steps to get back up to the top of the restaurant. And as the kid comes up, he had jumped in with the GoPro, and so he's asking the people at the restaurant, "Is there anybody that can dive and get my GoPro?" And they're like,
No, it's like hundreds of feet deep.
hundreds of
Yeah, it's a
feet.
straight drop,
Like that
dude,
thing's
yeah.
gone, brother.
Yeah,
if
you ain't
that one's
getting that.
strapped in, it's over.
Yeah, the floaty on that thing.
Yeah, so Capri is really, really a great spot, or Capri, like you
Yeah,
like to say.
Capri.
Yeah.
Probably Canada. I love Florida, so
Yeah.
I think I'll
Yeah,
always
I
be
mean-
here. But I'd like the places to go hunt, and I'd like to hunt big deer.
Big deer.
I'd like to hunt a big whitetail. I would.
Yeah, there's some
That'd be
big ones
cool.
up there. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Further north you go, they seem to get thicker and bigger and
Oh yeah.
meaner.
Yeah, no, those are all great. That's great stuff. Talking about meaner people, though, Juice, you were telling me in break when we were having our break.
Yeah.
About a mean guy on TV.
That Gene boxed
That
against
Gene
at,
boxed
at a
against. Can
local
you tell us
spot
this?
here.
Yeah, we need to understand this. story.
At this place used to call Nighttown. It was a club back in the day here in Destin, and they used to do like Wednesday nights. I think it was. They did boxing.
Tuesdays.
Tuesday nights. They did
Tuesday
Tuesday
night
night boxing.
night.
Tuesday night.
Sanctioned,
What were the waivers
sanctioned or
on
just
that?
like dirty boxing?
Anybody?
No, it was
I mean, they
pretty-
had rounds and
Yeah,
it was
you
like an
just
actual
signed a
boxing
waiver
ring.
and hit
Yeah.
somebody.
Oh, I signed plenty of waivers.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did,
Oh
yeah.
man,
A boxing ring, and Gene fought Reacher from Amazon.
You fought Jack Reacher.
what's his name?
Alan Richardson.
The
Yeah,
big,
Alan
huge
Richardson, yeah, he
dude.
That was the guy that I got matched up against.
Come on,
As you
here in
can see,
Destin.
Yeah, as you can see, similar physiques, so that was fair.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
tall.
Well, this is 20 years ago, so
got
they were
shoulders.
probably generally the same size, probably back
Yeah,
then.
so like back then, I mean, that was what we did on Tuesdays, right?
Yeah.
So, Nighttown essentially took the dance floor, put a ring in it. You know, you got free cover if you decided to fight, and I think if you won, you got like a $25 bar tab, right? So, like,
Wow.
so obviously that's what
What's the
everybody did.
downside here?
Yeah.
It's worth a concussion,
Yeah.
dude.
And, we're, 18, 20 rounds at that time, I don't know, and, Crestview, Baker were up there, and, they got all the South County guys down here, and they're, it was becoming a thing, and, I got her wild hair and said, yeah, I'll do it, it can't be that bad. Headgear, big gloves, watched all my friends do it. So one of our friends boxed quite a few times, and he gave me advice he said, hey man, like, you got to sandbag your weight, right? Like everybody's sandbag your weight. At the time, I was probably 185, with just eating with jeans on, right? Like, so I decided to sandbag down to 180, right? Which is probably was a bad call. And our buddy Wade, which we talk about, he's a character. When they call your name to go to the top, he goes and takes a sneak peek at the guy that I'm boxing.
Right.
And he comes back and he's just like,
This guy's a mountain.
he's like, he might be a little bigger than you, but like I think you got him on the reach, man. So it's gonna be an outside guy. So I was like, all right, cool, man.
Did you
Like,
see this dude?
yeah.
Have you seen this guy reach?
yeah.
I know. It's
He's
we're not
a
talking to Tom
massive-
Cruise reacher.
gigantic.
Yeah.
No.
He wasn't that big. back then.
Amazon
He's on-
Amazon
Yeah, he
Prime
was-
reacher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He was only,
He's
he's
hit
only
the
18,
gym.
19, yeah. So like we get to the ring, and I'm wearing like, the wife beater that it's probably baggy on me, screamed down, and I look across and I'm like, this dude looks like he just got out of Gold's Gym. Like, is this
he
the
did.
bouncer? Like, who is this guy? And
You got the reach though.
yeah, and there's all this kind of like, it's funny how like in retrospect I look back at like all the things that I kind of noticed, right? Like the ambulance guys like kind of moved over to my corner. I was like, that's interesting,
This guy's gonna need some dental work.
and all my friends, right, are now like you were allowed one corner guy, like one friend. They had the bouncers were your actual corner guy, but you could have one friend over there. But now all of my friends are coming over. Like Cody was there, Hetrick was there.
Yeah.
And they're trying to top me up. And I just remember one of the guys was like, "Hey man, take 3 steps and hit him," right? And I was like, "Oh, that sounds like a good plan, right? Good plan." So I did 3 steps. Hit him. I put all 185 pounds right behind it, and he just sat there and looked at me. And I was like, so I gave him another one, and kind of, I was controlling the fight for a good one. There's a lesson here
30
on this.
seconds.
So I got him in the corner. He actually kind of like turtled a little bit, and I was like kind of rabbit punching him, and I'm like getting some confidence. I'm like, this is great, right? And here's the lesson: if everything's going the way that you want it to go,
Live lesson.
don't
folks.
change anything, right? So for some reason, I was like, he's trying to wear me out, right? So like I'll just kind of get back up, and as soon as I stopped, man, I just saw black, right? It felt a couple of hits, went down.
Oh,
I did get
man.
up. I did get up, got up, saved by the bell, I'm pretty sure. Finished up the fight. We got to a tie. It was a tie. So,
A tie.
So tie there.
Yeah.
How do you get a tie? Is it like a
Draw, I guess?
draw? Well, I guess it's a
they had-
split
they-
decision.
yeah,
2
they had-
judges.
They had 3 judges,
So
right?
2 judges
Yeah.
scored you, 1 judge scored him, and then another one
Yeah,
was a draw.
I don't exactly remember.
Yeah.
Maybe they were all ties, but I know they went to the crowd, and I can't remember who like actually won. I think everybody kind of just felt bad for me because he's so much bigger. He's so big. He's so big.
He's a huge man.
He's a big dude.
Big dude.
And then like at the time, I didn't know who he was. Right? He was just. He was just.
Well,
some
he wasn't
kid.
anybody then, probably,
Yeah.
really.
It was
yeah.
like 3 weeks later when all the news broke that he got his first role there in Smallville.
Blue Mountain State?
No, Smallville for
Oh, okay.
Aquaman. And being from Niceville was huge.
He basically was playing a superhero.
Right. Yeah.
On TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Twice. I
That's
think.
funny.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. What's
Damn.
crazy is that he was acting and getting roles, and he
And get-
decided
yeah.
to show up at Nighttown to box.
Yeah. That might have been before.
A certified
A lot of
jabroni.
people. That was kind of a big thing back then. I remember.
It was. Like it was. I mean, it was a big deal. Nighttown
Yeah.
did a good job with it. Like there was tons of waivers.
It was kind of when
right?
UFC was coming out, probably too.
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe not. Yeah.
I mean, the place.
What
was
happened
packed.
to it? What's
The place was
it? What is
packed.
it now? What is Knightsville now?
Nighttown's like
Nighttown.
a church. It went
I
to
think
a
it turned. I think
church
Shoreline
or-
Church took it over.
Oh, that's
at
about
some
right.
point.
I don't know
Well,
what
that
it is.
serves it-
I haven't been
serves
down
it-
that way in a while.
Yang to the yang.
Yeah.
The yin and the yang.
Yeah.
Gene, you were telling me too down in kind of switching gears again, but that is, by the way, that is a great story. That is a great story.
Hilarious,
Alan
yeah.
Richardson, you're
wanna
welcome
come
on
on
our
the pod
pod
if fight him
anytime.
again. Let's go,
listen,
dude.
We can do it right here.
I have no desire to do that again. But for you guys, if you arrange that, I will do it.
Hey, dude.
I'm not going to want to do it. I'm not going to want to. And I'll give it the best 25
We're gonna have to
seconds
do it for
that I got.
charity.
He's got government health insurance. So
Yeah, you do that.
that's
You got
good.
TRICARE.
Yeah, that's good to know.
I need 7 to 10 months to get in shape.
Hey, we should do this for charity. Call him. Let's do this.
For you guys.
We'll do something big.
We
Yeah,
got to
I've
get Alan in. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
he's a great dude, man. I've been following him on Instagram.
He sounds-
he sends a
seems
good
like a really
message.
cool
He
guy.
seems pretty sincere, and whatnot. I mean, I've enjoyed the show, Reacher. I've enjoyed watching
Yeah.
it, and of course, if you're from this area, you want to watch it and support a local guy. So
Yeah.
it's great.
I
to
haven't
do
got
that.
on season 2 yet because of the baby, but I need to.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think
Yeah.
they might even be on season 3.
I'm on
now,
season
right?
3.
They
It
might
is
be season
3. It is
now.
3. Yeah.
Yeah.
The first 2 are great.
Yeah, for sure. So you were telling me in break too a little bit about Deer Smeer and some of kind of you. What I loved about it, you were telling me in break, was a little bit of the heart of Deer Smeer. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that because Dusty, right, is
Correct,
the
yep.
owner of Deer Smeer. He is your commissioner. In fact, Danielle, do you have the trophy? There's a picture of this trophy.
Is this a
somewhere.
fantasy football trophy?
Fantasy
Yeah, he's
football.
the
He's
So is he in the
commissioner of
league
fan-
too?
He's the commissioner.
He's the
Oh, the commish. Is this a rotating
commish.
commish job or he
No,
keeps the
he's the-
commish?
No, he's we call him CDP for commish Dieter
There we go.
Putin.
There's the
That's
trophy.
the guy.
He runs the league like with an iron fist.
Yeah,
That's how I
he's-
run the poker league. That's who I
sometimes-
get. He's my inspiration.
He's your inspiration.
Yeah, he's my inspiration on the poker
That's a
league.
legit trophy for
Yeah.
a league.
Yeah.
That is a
Pretty
legit trophy.
good.
My name's probably the last one on there.
Yeah, we got a little dinky trophy that Juice bought for himself, but yeah, I mean, and
It's a beautiful
Yeah.
poker trophy.
I bought it 2 days before the tournament.
2 days before he won it.
And then I won it, and then it came in the mail. I was like, oh, well.
I'm debating if he didn't buy it after the win.
Maybe.
No, I
probably.
showed the Amazon receipts.
I've not seen
I had
receipts.
it. I'll show them. I'll go back.
But I want you to talk a little bit about the heart of Deer Smeer because you shared a story kind of off camera that I wanted you to maybe talk a little bit about now.
Yeah, so I mentioned that, I contacted Dusty there to try to get experience into the civilian workforce. He originally told me no, right, which kind of took me aback. I'm like, man, we've been friends forever, like,
Right.
pretty good dude. But then when he told me his vision of it, that's when things kind of changed for me because I kind of thought this was a project for him and a business where he's going to try to make money, and I knew that I could help out. Pretty decent salesman and all that. But what really got me is he told me, he's like, hey, like, you don't understand, like, Deer Smeer is more than just a company to me. He's like, I want to brand Deer Smeer as a thing that people talk about all over and gives me an opportunity to spread the word. And, because he's very devout in his faith. And I grew up in the church. I don't always do the best now, but,
Sure.
I went back home and I talked to my wife, and some of them were just calling me to do that, right? And I could not get away from it. And it was a couple weeks, and I called her back, and we had another conversation about it, and I was like, man, I need to be a part of this. I need to
Anytime
be
you
a part
can
of
lean
this.
into your faith more,
Right.
it's so great. And I love the idea and the identity that business owners have when they say, hey, look, you're going to want to make business. Nobody's wanting to do anything for practice, right? But the idea that you can actually leverage what you've been given in life to help tell others that there's a Savior out there that loves them dearly and that died on a cross for them so that they could have eternal life and hope in the future is an amazing thing. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of why, like, I was called to do that, right? Like,
Yeah.
and obviously he agreed to it. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming that, that's not a coincidence.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
the Holy Spirit worked on his heart too, right?
Right, yeah. And so we got this thing going. It's going great.
That's
So,
awesome.
And I believe in him a lot. Just like I believe in Juice and what he's doing. So
That's great.
glad to support it, and I'll keep doing it for as long as I can.
Always great to support good friends.
Absolutely.
You even supported the guy that almost knocked you out, so that's always good.
Definitely knocked me out. He definitely knocked
you out. You were seeing black. You got up there.
I didn't see the last 3 that he hit me with. It was just black.
They tell me about it, but I don't know.
Yeah, he definitely got me.
So, Gene, your wife, you call your wife Ashley Wonder Woman,
Absolutely.
right? She's a teacher, a mom, and someone who shows up for kids who need it most. How has her example shaped the way you lead and serve others?
This is a perfect segue, right? Like, one, I watch what she does, where she could probably teach anywhere she wants. She was a Teacher of the Year nominee at one point. Anytime she picks up the phone and calls and asks for a job, she gets it. But she chooses to work with kids who, maybe different demographic than our own, right? Who don't necessarily have the best home life or, I mean, they're just different kids, right? Not all of them, but a lot of them.
Maybe disadvantaged.
Disadvantage. That's a good word. Thank you.
Yeah.
And when I ask her all the time, like, hey, why don't you teach 5 minutes from the house, right? Like, you'd have a lot less stress in your life, right? Kids can go there. She says, well, those kids don't need me like these ones do, right? And so I stopped asking, you know, and the way that she's inspired me is kind of what we talked about. Like, we both kind of live this servant life where, you know, we try to do for others, right? And she's given me the confidence to, you know, do the Deer Smeer stuff. I didn't even think about it until I talked to her first. And she mainly went into it with 2 thumbs up and go have fun. And I just want you to be around for our anniversary, which the ATA shows ours on our anniversary, so I broke that one. But the same thing with the hockey stuff, right? I went to her first and I knew what she was going to say. She's like, look, this is what you just got to do. So watching her be able to do that and how much she cares. And the other thing that she has taught me with this is I watch how much she prepares every day. And that doesn't have much to do with, I think, that's just who she is as a person, right? This is the first year she hasn't done summer school. So I kind of thought she would take the summer off. And instead, she's preparing for next school year, right? And I'm looking at that and I'm like,
that's hard of a teacher.
Yeah, I'm like, well, man, maybe I should prepare for hockey practice.
What are you doing wrong?
Yeah, you know, like, all right, maybe I should prepare the slide and all that. So even when I'm going through like school, I got a project due, like I almost always kind of talk to her about it, and she just kind of keeps me going with that. So awesome. I couldn't do anything that I've done or probably wouldn't even be around this earth if it wasn't for hers.
Yeah, do we have a photo of them? I think somewhere. We've got a photo there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. And there you're in uniform there. Is that like a military ball or something like that?
That was a graduation for Chiefs Call to Initiation in 2015.
Okay.
Yep, so that's what that was.
All right, very good. Very good. And you guys met in high school.
We did.
Had a little break apart and then came back. Is that what I hear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you came back.
That happens a lot.
We had.
You see that a lot.
I've had a lot of friends that do that.
We had different priorities, probably from ages 16 to 21-ish.
What was the moment that you came back together?
Yeah.
When was it?
I don't
Like,
even
how
know
did
this
that
story.
connect again?
Well, you know, she will tell you that this is a lie, but it's not, right?
Hold on, let's call her. Let's call her. Get her on the phone.
I'll FaceTime her right now if you want. Like, she'll answer. But seriously, the moment that I saw her, I knew that was the one for me. Like, I remember the seat she was sitting in, you know, in the Sunday school chair when I walked in.
At 16.
16. Well, I think I was 15.
Okay.
15, 14. Her mom was my Sunday school teacher, by the way.
Nice.
And I remember the moment, and I was just like, that's it, right? But we had, you know, it takes a while to get back to that, and I didn't always lead a life that she was willing to be a part of, and I probably called her a lot when I was partying too much, and you know.
Reacher just beat me up, dude. Come get me.
Yeah, so she went to Florida State, right? So I wasn't that far away, so I'd go out there and mostly
so
see her parties.
Y'all stayed together, or like
we're not together.
No, but in contact.
In contact.
When was the final, like, all right, I'm done with, you know, child Gene, and like, you know, because you're telling me she's not putting up with a whole lot of
so
there's something that she basically snapped you straight at some point.
Yeah, we had found out we were pregnant with our first.
There you go.
Gotcha. Got him.
Yeah, that was the.
I'm gonna change. I'm gonna change now.
Yeah,
And she just graduated high school, correct?
She did. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's getting ready to start at USF.
That's awesome. So how long have y'all been together?
We've been married for 18 years.
Look, 18 years is huge here in today's world, man. I mean,
Beautiful.
50% of marriages end at under 10.
Absolutely.
So it really under 7.
Oh, made it.
So yeah, there you go. So
and it's never been a doubt for me.
Yeah.
She might have some questions at once.
You going where to draft for stupid fantasy football? What are you talking about?
That's
You want to
great.
do what?
That's great. So 3 kids, 3 wildly different stages of life. What's something you've learned from each of them that's made you a better man?
Man, you're hitting the hard ones today, man.
Come on, baby.
Man,
Everybody cries at least once.
I'm going to try
so.
to keep this one without crying. But so
We'll bring Reacher in.
Yeah, I'll definitely cry then. Yeah, so my oldest, right? I mean, she taught me everything, right?
You had to grow up.
Yeah, I was coasting through life,
For sure.
looking for the next glass, right? And
Right.
not really no care in the world, no real direction, no purpose.
Right.
And the moment I found out we were having her, everything changed, right? In fact, I was headed to the bar when I found out and didn't actually go, right? So I credit her with everything, you know. And unfortunately for her, right, she's the test baby, right? Like, I mess it up with her, and I try to implement it on the next one. You know?
Man, that is so funny because my wife and I say, my wife says all the time, and I've kind of copied her on this, but my wife says all the time, she says, you always break an omelet on the way, right? You're my first omelet. You're my first omelet to our son. You know?
Yeah, she was great. Like, I remember her growing up as a baby, just being completely happy and content. We didn't have much. You know, I was getting paid like $7 an hour at the time.
Yeah, but that's big money. I mean, now the inflationary, it's like 15.
It didn't feel like 15.
Still nothing. Still nothing.
Foxwood, I was making like $4.25.
Yeah, it was not very much.
$4.25. Yeah.
Yeah, $4.25.
Yeah, and recently, right, like now I'm trying to learn how to parent an adult, right? And like, where are those boundaries and where aren't those? And she's still at the house right now.
I'm in that same spot, Gene.
Yeah, man. And it's kind of like...
it's a tough one, man.
Yeah,
It
so
is.
I'm looking forward to learning about it. And I don't think it's going to stop at...
I'll give you some
21.
unsolicited advice here. I've started this now, and just recently, really, with my adult kids at 21 and 19, and then soon to be 17, and they're all going to age up inside of the next 6-7 months, you know. But I asked them, do you want me to listen or do you want my advice?
That's beautiful.
Because they're at a point where sometimes they just need an ear.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And they do need to figure it out, right? They do need to make some mistakes. They do need to figure it out. Now, if they're like headed towards grabbing a meth pipe or something, then, I'm
Red flag.
red flag alert.
Yeah,
you know?
As a friend and a dad.
These are my
As
my
a friend
kids are
and a
great,
dad,
but yeah.
both. Hey, as your friend and your dad, meth is not. That's not what we're doing.
Stay away from that.
We're not doing it.
Yeah,
Talk to me about some boy problems, but
Kids
we're not
don't do
doing that.
meth.
And also she's exploring dating. She's had a boyfriend for a while. And I do remember having the conversation with Ashley one time about trying to model a future suitor for her, right? Like, I don't ever want her to think that.
Oh, yeah, good call.
I want her to see, me and Ashley's relationship and be like, that's what I want, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think, we all fall short a little bit, but, that's one thing that's made me want to be better, right? Is like she's going to look at somebody and I want her to say, this isn't acceptable.
This is a like you want her to say, hey, this is I want to model a healthy relationship
Right.
to my.
Absolutely.
I think the same thing. I want my kids. And I told them all the time. all I want for you is to have the same thing your mom and I have.
Right, yeah.
It's not. It's a lot of hard work and it's easy, but I love her to death.
Yeah.
And she loves me, and it's hard. It's ups and downs and all this stuff, but that's what I want for my kids is to find that person, to find their person.
Yeah.
The sooner the better. I mean, because otherwise it's just heartache and headache,
heartache.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And my son, he's, whether he wants to admit or not, he's a little mini me. And, I've learned that he watches everything, doesn't listen so well.
I think we got a picture of your son
but
here.
he-
But he watches,
Somewhere. Yeah,
right?
Danielle, throw it up.
But he watches.
He
yeah.
absorbs
He's
everything
doing-
like a
Right. So, and I learned this lesson way too late. Right. So, when he was little.
Oh, there he is.
That's actually Grayson.
Oh, so this
that's
is
my daughter.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
They look the
Oh,
same,
yeah, there's
so
another one,
they-
but I think.
Well,
Yeah,
I
well,
may
she's
not
got
have
the
it pulled
hoodie
up.
on there, yeah.
I may not
I
have
thought
that
I had
one
the
pulled
other
up.
one.
I may not have that
they
pulled
look
up.
similar like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so essentially, like if we talked about controlling time earlier, I just wish I could go back and try to be a better model male for him. Probably when he was developing a little bit better.
Yeah.
I wasn't horrible, but like you always want to be better, right?
I mean, look, we all every day, right? Get better. We just said it's SLED, right? Suck less every day.
I love that.
Yeah.
just be better.
I would
Suck
think
less
no
every day.
parent has been ever perfect. No,
No.
and so we all mess up.
Yeah.
And I tell my kids that now that they can understand that, hey, if I've done anything that seemed like out of my real character, I apologize, and I've messed up a lot, and I'm sorry. But
Yeah.
I'm so looking forward to our adult relationship.
I can't wait.
That's what I'm looking forward
It's
to.
I
tough.
can't wait, yeah.
I tell
Yeah.
you though, it's the interesting thing is, and like I said, they get adult problems, and you can't always solve.
Well, that's
the
what I'm
hardest
hearing
part.
from y'all.
That's
It's like
the hardest
That's
part.
gonna be hard for me. Is
It
like
is.
letting them experience that when you can prevent it, and you're like they gotta experience, but
They got to have pain.
I
Pain
mean,
is
like,
pain is
yeah.
the greatest motivator, really.
It is.
because your instincts is to stop it from happening, but you're like they gotta.
Well, you know, you
Tough
could, as a
boundary,
parent, if
yeah.
you had all the money in the world, you could buy your kids anything. I mean,
Yeah.
quite frankly, if you listen to people like Bill Gates, for instance, and some of these other guys, like who's the other, the Warren Buffett, right? They're not passing their incredible wealth to their children. They're now they're going to give them more than any other kid ever got. But let's say if they said, "I'm peeling off $10 million," like, look, any kid out there today would be gracious for that. But when you're talking
Not
about people with
billions.
hundreds of billions of dollars, they're doing this in a way because you've got to have purpose. If you steal your kid's purpose, you've almost taken away
Yeah.
Yeah.
any goodness they could have in life.
Yep.
You know?
Very well said.
And
Yeah.
so it's important that as a parent, you've got to allow them to struggle. You've got to allow them to stumble. And you be there when you can, but it is the most difficult thing. And I'm still learning,
Yeah.
by the way. I'm still trying to figure it out,
Yeah.
too. I'm just a $10 podcast here, so it's not like I know
JB,
anything.
I heard with you one time, we were at a place and I heard Andy Stanley say, what would you do different as a father now if you knew that the best thing in your life was the respect of your adult children? It made me really think, like,
Oh, mine's easy.
are they going to want to hang around me? Are they going to respect me? Is that somebody they want to go to? Or am I alienating them now that they won't want to have a relationship?
It's
with me?
things you've got to look at as a
Wild,
father.
huh?
It's things you have to look at as a father and as a parent in general, a mom or a dad. It's just those sorts of questions. You need to have those introspective things. And here's the thing: if you've screwed it all up until now, it's not too late to start.
It is never too
It's going to
late.
take
It's like-
time. It's going to take time and a lot of effort. And it's like you said. I always tell my kids, and I said the same thing to them. There was no playbook for this thing here.
I tried, but I wasn't the best.
I've paid for all their. I've already paid for my older kids. I pay them for your counseling sessions, and if you need me to show up and apologize, I will.
That's right.
That's
right.
all I can do.
100%.
You know.
Yeah, the little one, she's full of energy, man. She's so innocent, and like she's been great to us.
How old
and
is she?
She's 6.
6. That's right.
So,
You've got all these different
yeah,
stages.
so 18, almost 19, 16, and 6. And
That is great,
nuts.
by the way.
yeah, it's great. She might have been the only one on purpose too, by the way. Or planned, I should say that.
Planned,
That's
yeah.
probably,
That's probably a better word, yeah.
Don't get mad at me, the other
Yeah,
two, when
that's
they
right,
hear this.
that's right.
Yeah. But what she's taught me, and this has been something that I've really been focusing on, is we've talked about how busy I am with all the things going on. I make a point to try to keep things simple, right? Because she'll just ask me, Daddy, can we do this? Can we go hit golf balls? Can we go swim in the pool? Can we just watch a show? Right? She just loves everybody so much. She's so big that has kind of grounded me a little bit to like not take that for granted. Like I wasn't always there for the other two, right? Like I was busy, I was working, right? I was gone a lot, right? And I missed a lot of things, and I have the opportunity now to kind of be there for her, right? And though the other two are going to get that, they kind of taught me how to help her out with that. And so I'm really looking forward to trying to spend some time with her as she grows up as well, and try to take those moments. The one thing I try not to do is tell the kids, like, no, I can't spend time with you. I try to.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work.
Time's
so-
the most important thing.
Right.
Time's the
so-
biggest commodity we have, for
That's
sure.
it. It's all.
Sure.
It is. It's more than gold.
Well, you
Yeah.
know, this time we've had today on the show has been awesome. It's absolutely been,
Yeah, man, it's been great.
been a pleasure. And Master Chief Wright, I am really thankful to call you a friend now.
Yeah, man.
And another fellow jabroni. So I'm
I
really
appreciate
thankful.
that.
I
I'm
need
honored.
some
I've got
Deer
one.
Smeer for my.
Yeah.
I've got one last
season.
question. One last question, and
Okay.
I've been asking everybody pretty much this season this question.
Well, he knows.
So I'm going to ask you. Yeah, of course he knows it. But here's the last question. Last question I'm asking. What would you tell your 25-year-old self if you could go back and tell them anything?
I would say stay away from the booze. Every dollar you spend on that, invest.
Oh, good call.
Damn, you'd
Good
be
call.
a billionaire.
I would be.
probably,
Yeah.
Gene.
We would not,
You would like.
we would not be talking
Yeah,
about.
you would not be here if
we would
that.
not be talking about what I'm doing next.
You'd be shooting rockets outer space.
100%.
Oh,
That's
man,
a great one. I heard
Yeah.
somebody else say it this way. Said, "Hey, just slow down on your Friday night. Say no to more Friday nights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Say
Yeah.
no to more Friday
Well,
nights.
even at 25, like I had a family and all that, but that I didn't really slow down. I just kind of changed when I was doing it, right?
Yeah.
And you know, like
God, I mean, I was spending 25. I probably spent
Yeah.
10% of my annual income on
Yeah.
booze.
Juice is
Yeah.
now
Your liver's
Now
like
I'm thinking
filled
about
with
it.
regret.
Jeez, I could have bought
Please
some
help
Apple
me.
stock or some crap. Oh,
filled with regret.
Spend that money back in Google back
Oh,
in the day.
man.
You'd be all right.
Jeez.
Well, man, this has been an absolute pleasure. I really do appreciate it. And this is part I like to say. Listen up, kids. Listen up, kids. Gene Wright might be retiring from the Coast Guard pretty soon, but don't let that fool you. The man's just getting started, whether he's wrangling 65 hockey kids or holding Juice accountable for his life choices. Gene leads with purpose, patience, and a good sense of humor. If this combo made you laugh, think, or text a buddy, go ahead and share it. Thanks for riding with us, or not. I mean, what the hell do we know?
What does he know?
What the hell do I know? I'm just JB, middle-aged dad with ADD. Candid combos, jokes so lame, jabronis pulling a poker face. Just a couple of dudes with ADD.